Hi, my name is Rain and my partner is Chantel, and we did the traditional and modern Hawaiian diet. As we know, Hawaiians have very interesting, unique culture. They worship more than 40,000 gods. They have different kapus for their people, and one thing that stood out to us was their diet. The food that is currently labeled as Hawaiian food in the present is very different from what native Hawaiians ate. When the Marquesans arrived in Hawaii, which they are the first residents of the Hawaiian Islands, they introduced approximately 30 plant species, mostly for food, to the Hawaiian island chain. These plants are then combined with fish, meat, or other seafood. Ancient Hawaiians are believed to be the healthiest people around the world due to their balanced and healthy diet. It is also believed that it is the healthiest diet in the world during their time. Social ranking also affects their diet. According to my research, the higher status individuals were allowed to eat more fatty foods. Their diet consists of vegetables, meat, and fish, which satisfied their needs for carbohydrates, starch, and protein. And at the core of the ancient Hawaiian diet was the taro or kalo plant. Taro was commonly used to create the Hawaiian staple food called poi. Some of the popular food that ancient Hawaiian ate was the laulau, which is a dish made of pork and butterfish wrapped in luau leaves and tea leaves. Laulau is steamed and eaten with rice or poi, and poi, which is a staple food for them. It is made by roasting or steaming the taro corm or root and then smashing it into a paste. The final product is generally purplish in color and traditionally eaten by hand. And the kalua pork. It is a smoked shredded meat. It is the main dish and most common food served at traditional Hawaiian luau's and feasts. Some of their cooking methods are steaming, boiling, and imu. Their cooking methods are steaming, boiling, and imu, which is slow cooking underground, like an underground oven. And that's all for my
paakakalo i loko ka ai. Nga pa, kuya, Bye, pili ko. Inalo ako pupu o, kaya ika ko pupu o, ito ka ito. Ay ako ika pupu.
How did you shake it off? Is he throwing my hair?
No, no, walk forward.
So, what is Hawaiian cuisine? Today, food that is called Hawaiian food is very different from what native Hawaiians ate. The type of food consumed are a mix of many different cultures of the people living here in Hawaii. The cuisine is known as Hawaiian food. Some people call it Hawaiian barbecue, or a resident here calls it local foods. Local food is generally unhealthy and cause obesity rate in Hawaii to increase. This chart shows the difference between the ancient Hawaiians and today's diet. The ancient Hawaiians diet consists of carbohydrate, starch, and proteins, and said they were fit and their diets were one of the best in the world. It consists of high starch, high fiber, low saturated fat, low sodium, and low cholesterol diets. It had 12% protein, 18% fat, and 70% carbohydrate. Compared to today's diet, it has 15% protein, 40% fat, and 45% carbohydrates. At that time of discovery of the Hawaiian, they were physically one of the most striking native race in the world. As a race, they were tall, shapely, and muscular with good features and kind eyes. In symmetry of form, the women have scarcely been surpassed if equaled, while the man excelled in muscular strength. Anthropologists agreed that the ancient Hawaiians was one of the finest physical type in the Pacific, and compared very favorably with the best type of any other part of the world. They were tall and well developed, with splendidly shaped torsos and fine muscular limbs of excellent portion. And of course, thanks to their hard labor and trainings, and of course their diets, they get to have this physique. Higher status individual like the ali'i had more options for their diets. They were able to select certain foods and demand specific items. The maka'ainana had a more limited consumption of luxury foods. Hawaiian ate a single large meal during the day, which was early afternoon. Many immigrants came to Hawaii because of the plantation. The Chinese were the first immigrant. They wanted rice instead of poi in their meals. At first, their rice was imported, but as the Hawaiian population declines, so did the demand of poi. The Hawaiian staple changed as immigrant and foreigners traveled to Hawaii, so the food was shared, mixed, and imported. As the youth began to mix with the immigrants from the East, modern Hawaii culture began to form. The adjustment of Eastern culture immigrating to Hawaii caused the local cuisine to change and mix. This change is when we look at what is considered Hawaiian cuisine in current society. Many culture came to Hawaii and the culture was affected dramatically. And because of the many culture that travel to Hawaii, it became a place of ethnic acceptance where culture is mixed. The local cuisine changed as more immigrant travels to the Hawaii. Fast food restaurants such as McDonald's began to incorporate popular local food into their menu. They include breakfast menus like Portuguese sausage and spam. They also include to their menus like pineapple and taro pie. These items were popular in Hawaii because they were appealed to the type of food Hawaiians used to eat. Although these foods are delicious, they affect the health and well-being of the Hawaiian resident immensely, causing an obesity increase. Because of the availability of fatty foods, an obesity epidemic has erupted in Hawaii. Because of the poor public transportation on islands other than Oahu, Many people don't have the opportunities to travel to a local grocery store. Hawaiian food and its culture continue to evolve to this day. The foods that locals eat now is very different from what of the natives ate. In current Hawaiian society, there is an obesity increase. The type of food the Hawaiians consume on a daily basis is not good for their health. In order to fix the problem with the unhealthy eating in Hawaii, there must be more access to public transportation and fewer fast food restaurants in low income areas. The availability of unhealthy and cheap food makes it difficult for Hawaiians to make healthier choice. Through education and the promotion of exercise, Hawaii can rid itself of the obesity epidemic and its current problem currently facing. So these are our reference that we got from our slides, and that concludes our presentation. Thank you, and any questions?